2 days to the start of the World Cup. Whichever team it is that you're supporting, I hope indeed that they get a good start in the group stages. And that man, Brian Amwai, is back from leave. Brian Amwai, good morning, sir. How are you doing? I hope you slept properly, you've eaten properly, you've sort of upped up your social media. How are you doing, sir?
Let's just say I took a short break. When I say back from leave,
it's been 5 days.
I just away for like 2 days. I think.
2 days?
Yeah, it was 2.
Why 2 days though?
It was two days. But that's beside the point. I'm back. Thank you so much.
That should be the point.
You good?
Yeah, bro, we're good, we're pushing. We just realized the other day with Nelima that you have a new profile picture.
Don't do that. Of course. Okay. My profile photo on Twitter, I've been there for quite a while, so I needed to change that. And, I was turning a new leaf and saying,
anyway,
it's something different.
It looks professional.
Yeah, of course.
And let me just say that. It looks... Anyway.
Is that professional, quote in quotes, or
looks,
just professional, you mean it?
No, it looks professional. I didn't say that. Nancy Delima said that. Anyway, brother, welcome back.
Okay,
by the way, we're not just alone this morning. We do have DJ Bonine. I see somebody in front of him. Sijui tumfukuze mbele ya DJ Bonine. DJ anafato, jamaa kombele ya DJ Bonine anafato. Okay, juu tunataka tuongee na DJ Bonine. Anyway, as he gets ready, is it kase bwana talk hapo tusalimie DJ Bonine. Anyway, DJ Bonine, how are you doing, sir? Uko fiti?
I'm doing great, my guy.
Uko sawa, eh?
I'm okay.
Kabisa.
Yeah?
Naona leo uko ready mazee kuchoma studio, si ndio?
Leo niko ready kumash up, kuna baridi huko nje, watu lazima wachangamke.
Mazee, hiyo mvua lazima itaacha kuleta lazima itatoka, si ndio?
Lakini mvua iko sawa.
Mvua iko sawa by the way.
Mvua inafaa inyeshe tupande chakula, watu waache kukufa njaa.
Niliona wasee wakiingililia Sakaja, like ulikuja hapo ukisema block massive lines Nairobi itakuwa sawa within the first 100 days. Uliona vile tao kulikuwa kumeflat jana?
Niliona, lakini kuna uwezi fanya kila kitu, so unampea time.
Au msali sema 100 days. DJ Bonine
unafaa kumpea time 100 days uweze unblock siwe zote Nairobi.
Na kila kitu by the way tutaki. Ukikuja unafanya kila kitu. Hakuna hapa kubagain ati by the way uwezi fanya kila kitu.
DJ Bonine unakaa kama ulivotia Sakaja.
Hatukuvotia mtu ndio akuja afanye nusu.
Wewe ni kama ulivotia Sakaja bwana. Anyway, that's DJ Bonine. Guess what? We'll be coming to you today just to shake off the cold around Nairobi. But here's the thing though, we hope that you're safe. By the way, DJ Bonine, just before I cross to Amwai, insecurity level, CPD, imekuwa very high, si ndio? A piece of advice, unajua vile our former president alituambianga that security starts with you. A piece of advice to any, unajua kila mtu anakuanga na ile secret ya kuwa safe in Nairobi. Secret yako inakuanga gani ya ku make sure that you're not at the wrong place at the wrong time? Inakuanga gani?
Mimi nikitembea tao, kama niko na anything valuable, siwezi kuwa peke yangu. Because I've been a victim for nilinunua simu very expensive. I only spent time with it for 2 weeks. Then I was wanduzi. Mimi niko napiga simu. Simu yangu ilichukuliwa at gunpoint.
Gunpoint?
And I
no, DJ Bonine, gunpoint?
At gunpoint. Na nilikuwa na MacBook yangu kwa bag kwa mgongo. But since walitaka simu, I just gave them.
Where? Gunpoint?
Cause kama ningejaribu kusumbana nao, maybe wangechukua mpaka laptop yangu. So I just gave them my phone and then left.
Anyway, so your piece of advice ni ukibeba kitu valuable kwa na beshte yako.
Kitu valuable tu peke yako atakukujia, lakini ukiona unajua ukiona mkiwa wengi, hata pia wanafikiria mara mbili before akuje.
Anyway, a lot is going around. DJ Bonine atakuwa narudi by the way with those beats. Juleo ni kuserereka Friday. But Brian Amwai, just tiny bit again. Brian Amwai, you watched the EALA nominations yesterday, isn't it? Just a quick one, just before we look at the newspaper review. What do you make?
I think I was surprised and at the same time happy. I think I was looking at the list and to some extent I'm contented and say the names are good for me. I think they did a marvelous job when it comes to selecting the people that are going to be representatives.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to get much into that as we go on right here at the Morning Brief. This is what you have to do. Just join us live at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. That man right there was back fresh from leave, ready to push for the next one. Is it going to be 1 month? Amwai? I don't know. We're gonna talk about this. It's at Amwai Brian on Twitter.
Mention that.
That's it. Yeah. With a new profile picture. You gotta go in and then like it as well. Anyway, I'll be reading you his latest tweet on Twitter that I saw got a lot of traction. I'm gonna read it to you so we can see exactly what it was once we get into a trend. Anyway, right now we take a tiny breather. Once we come back, what it is that you're waking up to this morning in terms of your dailies. Welcome back. It is the Morning Brief. Then let's jump into what is trending this morning in terms of your newspapers. And Amwai Brown, I do understand that you have the Daily Nation. Can we begin with you so we know what it is taking center?
Yes, I do have the Daily Nation, Simba, and
what is that? What are you
listen, you see, so this Daily Nation, it has an advertisement here in terms of one of the supermarkets that has good offers, and I just saw Pembe, and I almost started with that, but this is
but Mai, you can start with it, Bwana. But the unga bei ya unga imerudi chini.
See then.
No, yeah.
How
much are they selling? How much are they selling Pembe?
I think 180.
180?
Yeah.
That is the maize flour. 2 kg pack.
Yeah, 2 kg.
Wow, bado bwana.
Right, so the Daily Nation, the top story of the Daily Nation is lots of impunity, and this has to do with the collapse, the buildings that are collapsing. I think this week we had about 2, one in Kasarani and the other one in Kiambu. Now, a second building collapsed in as many days with this time in Ruaka, Kiambu County, claiming the lives of at least 2 people. Now, unfortunately, justice for the victims could be a long time coming. Records show that some 5 owners of collapsed buildings and 10 government officials have been on trial for the death of more than 100 people. But the cases are still dragging in court. Now, this is the thing. We've looked at what the witnesses were saying in regards to this particular building collapsing, and they were like, it was not supposed to be, to be constructed. It had been stopped, but they defied the order and still continued to do what they do best. And here, this is exactly what we are getting. And I think somebody is sleeping on the job when it comes to making sure that whatever structure is going up is actually safe, and people around that particular structure could actually, their safety can actually be guaranteed. Simple.
Indeed. I will tell you that, Amwai. That's the same story that I see here just before you give us the rest of it. And the Standard is calling it the buildings of death, where the buck stops. By the way, Amwai, but the story that I'm doing for next week on Look at Business, what the building code in Nairobi State, especially for Nairobi County, is that every building above 3 floors should have an elevator. Wow. Have you ever seen something like that, Amwai? How many buildings would you count in the CBD that you visited? And I'm talking about these private buildings for residential buildings, that have elevators. None of them.
I haven't seen that. That will be something new. I think in different areas, probably, it depends on the estate. But there's some of the estates that you'll never expect to see that. You won't see that even if it has 8 floors or something like that.
I will tell you that, and these are some of the things that we're talking about here. And when they say that the lots of impunity, by the way, Amwai, listen. This investor, and I was talking about this morning with one of our guys, Victor, this morning, was saying he doesn't understand why we would blame the investor. We should blame the relevant authorities, Amwai, because once you flag a building, what happens next? You should monitor to make sure that it doesn't continue to be built, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, because we like to think that the county government, whatever it is, Kiambu or Nairobi, have this department that goes around giving these permits to these contractors or bringing up these buildings. But how many of them? That report again that was released by the ministry about how 3 out of 10 buildings in Nairobi need to be brought down. Why haven't we seen them being brought down?
We haven't seen that. And this, you see now Kiambu I think this is the second time since Governor Matangi actually took over.
Yeah.
And when it happens the first time, what you do is swing into action and say, every other building that is actually under construction at this particular time, we want to inspect it and see whether it's actually fit, it's okay, what exactly is happening, so that we don't get a repeat of the same. Because you're getting tired of people dying and people that are responsible, people are sleeping on the job, and people that are supposed to be held responsible are not even held responsible. So justice for the victims is actually to some extent denied. And I see, just in relation to that particular story, my parents died because of someone's selfishness. This is somebody who lost 2 of his parents. Wow. And it's very sad because now justice for this particular man, this is something he will never get to shake out of his mind, because he was saying, as looking like I wanted to help. I knew they were in there, but I couldn't do anything because you see now the debris itself is just too much. You have no idea where to start.
I'll tell you that, Amwai. Now, do you know that since 1990 to date, 200 people in Kenya have lost their lives because of collapsed buildings, Amwai? Something needs to be done. I'll tell you that. Anyway, any more details on the Daily Nation this morning?
Yeah, this now, the story itself is actually on page 6 and 7 of the Daily Nation. You can actually get it there. And another story that is making headlines on the Daily Nation, let me just take this one because I also believe it's on the Standard too. Now, the Mount Kenya MPs defy Ruto as Raila Kalonzo Kin sailed through House. Now, this Kenya Kwanza MPs defied the president last evening when they voted out 2 of his 5 most preferred nominees, even as Azimio leaders Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka registered big wins. In a meeting chaired by the president at State House on Wednesday, Kenya Kwanza had settled on former Mombasa Senator Hassan Omar, ex-nominated MP David Sankok, ex-Nandi women representative Zipporah Kering, ex-nominated Senator Fadaha Iman Deko, and former United Republican Party URP Secretary General Fred Muteti. But this lineup changed yesterday, and I remember the leader of majority, that is Kimani Ichung'wah, actually saying, yeah, we've noted we have this division, but people have made their choice, and that's exactly what we are going to go with. So they kind of deviated from what they had agreed when they were having that PG meeting.
I'll tell you that, man.
So anyway, the list is out right now. We know the 9 MPs that are going to be representing Kenya at the East African Legislative Assembly.
I'll tell you that, man.
What do you make of that, though?
But here's the thing. But on Iala, I did not think there was going to be a win or lose, isn't it? Because then I think this is why it was not partisan, I would say. It was not partisan because it was individuals that were going to get voted inside there. And you will say that they're affiliates, really, when you're looking at it. When a member of parliament is voting somebody to the East African Legislative Council, that you would say, I don't mind, just go, because you're not really going to affect my decisions that I'm making here at the national government. So the whole thing about using the split, the somewhat split that was within Azimio because of one name, Winnie Odinga getting nominated, I don't think it was going to work. But you saw, she went through.
Yeah, she did go through.
It was not essential.
Some extent, it caught so many people by surprise that she actually got to sail through. Because then it brings about the debate on why just this particular name, why do we have the names of this particular politician. So to some extent, I am glad that we are able to look beyond just the association of these candidates with, whoever their father is or something like that, and probably focus more on what they are actually going to deliver to some extent.
I'll tell you that.
Because now you look at Kennedy Kalonzo, you will look at Winnie Odinga, and this is exactly what is making headlines.
Yep. Anyway, Amwai, just slightly before we then go into what is trending this morning, we do know that some of those stories, by the way, are the ones that have been covered also on the Standard. We want to read into more of those Iala nominations. Move on to page 13. Now, you did see that submission from Moses Kuria about giving then the green light to introduce GMO maize into the country. And guess who was in the country behind that particular confirmation by Kuria that is actually working on a plan to bring them? Bill Gates, who said majority of the food that I take right now is GM. So he doesn't understand why East Africa or the entire of Africa will be opposed to GM. That story, read into it on page 4, and there's a bigger headline right there on the Standard as well. Guess what? For now, we take a tiny breather as well. Once we come back, what is trending this morning in as much as your conversations online are concerned. Back. Then let's look at what is trending this morning. Let me just confirm from our director whether our tweet center is ready. Do we have it? So we can actually get it on the screen right now so we can see exactly what it is that you guys are talking about. Yes, it's there. All right. Now, Amwai, I want you to look at this. This is by Honorable Opio Wandani. It's saying there's been one Kenya coalition congratulates Honorables Kennedy Kalonzo, Winnie Odinga, Kanini Kiage, and Suleimani Shabai for emerging winners in the just concluded bicameral Iala elections. Then he continues, as Mio further recognizes and applauds those aspirants who expressed interest. Is it not that right there? It goes in and then goes, but were unsuccessful in their respective bids to become Iala representatives. Azimio believes in democracy, equity, and fair representation at all levels and will promote these principles at all times. Azimio also believes in a strong and unified East Africa community. It ends there. Amwai, the particular names there, I will read it for you. There is Winnie Odinga and Kennedy Kalonzo, who are children to party principles in ODM, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you make of those particular names, especially?
Listen, you know, when I was coming in the morning, I was actually thinking, because I need this, one of the things that we're actually going to touch on.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, you see, a political family, and I'm going to text something that probably Winnie said some time back, I think during an interview. She said, you see, every child of a politician, to some extent, has dreams of getting into politics.
Yeah.
So just the fact that they are related to some of the big political names that we know in the country doesn't make them less of people to actually get into this position and get the opportunities that, you know, they do deserve, as every other Kenyan does. Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think it is being handed over to them. They actually get to lobby and, you know, talk to these parliamentarians. I said, kindly do vote for me, yeah, because I do want to go and represent, you know, the country and you people of the Republic at the East Africa Legislative Assembly. So the names, I'm looking beyond the names. I'm looking at what their capabilities, what is it that they are going to do. And if this one helps in grooming the next crop of leaders, then so be it.
But would you say that? Look at, but let me just take you back to page 13 of the Standard, since we're talking about it. Okay. They say, Raila, that's how they introduce the story, by the way. Raila and Kalonzo Musyoka's children, Winnie Odinga and Kennedy Musyoka, respectively. is that the entire conversation, or we need to look beyond that as you?
I think we need to look beyond, because now this is the thing. This is the thing. We are focusing so much on who they are related to, and forgetting that what is it that they can do? Why do they actually do they qualify? Yeah. Because you should be asking that. Do they qualify despite them being related to these political figures? Do they actually qualify for these particular positions? Yeah, I think that is what should be the conversation. If they do not qualify, then we can actually start raising questions and say, by the way, these people don't qualify for these positions, and they are being given these positions because they are related to so and so. Then we will have a problem with that. But if they do qualify for this, then to some extent we need to cast them some slack.
I'll tell you that. Amwai Brian, Winnie Odinga.
Do you think she deserves it?
I'm just asking you, what has she done?
This is the thing. Listen, I know this is going to bring the conversation of dynasty and all that. Yeah. But listen. This is a political family. The Odingas, it is a political family.
But you see, you're going back to family.
Yeah.
You see, you're going back to family. You just can't run away from family.
Yeah, it is a political family. Yeah. So even if we wanted to say, it's like having a company and you wanting to, you know, retire from that particular company, you find somebody who is going to continue your lineage, something like that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they're just going to come back to the people, and the people are going to make the choice whether they want to elect them or not. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. That is the beauty of our democracy here in the country, because it's not him choosing and saying, now I want to put my daughter here. It's not a nomination. That's the thing, you see. they went to be elected. If at all the members of parliament were dissatisfied with Winnie Odinga, then they wouldn't have elected her. Yeah?
I'll tell you that. Anyway,
you want to say the name actually gave her some mileage?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, Amwai. Yeah, look at the just concluded election. Yeah. You just need to say, Baba. Or say, you in. Anyway.
Okay, maybe in future we'll be saying Mama.
Yeah. Anyway, let's swiftly move into the next one this morning as well, so we can see exactly what it is that you guys are talking about online, and our Twitter center is going to bring it up right now so we can get ready together. Now, this is the one that we just spoke about, Trade Seers Moses Korea, to allow duty-free import of GMO maize for 6 months. Now, the underlining part there, Amwai, is duty-free maize into the country, and that's GMO. You're sort of saying, well, you won't pay for it, yeah? And I'll tell you that to quantify it, it is 10 million bags of GMO maize, starting today, by the way, yeah?
Listen,
yeah.
I don't know, but this is the thing. I think, are we in a hurry with this GMO thing? Because it's just the other day that we actually said now we lift the ban. Now you say you have 10 million bags actually coming in and things like that. Yeah. You see, when we let the Western culture actually influence us, I think there's some things you're willing to allow and others. When it comes to culture, you say, this is where we draw the line. But when it comes to when it comes to loans, when it comes to loans, you're like, we welcome. Kindly tell us how do we get to borrow and things like that. When it comes to food and donations and all that, it's all welcomed. Yeah. But there are things we actually say, we are drawing the line. Because I remember the other time we said, okay, should we let them come and try and help us do some investigations here and there because we feel like we're not doing enough? And I was like, no, we can do our own investigations and things like that. But this is the thing for me when it comes to matters genetically modified food. This is the thing. I think we are in a hurry, despite people it's not 100% transition, neither is it 90%. Not the whole country is on board with this idea, you understand? Yeah. But at the same time, you just want to ignore the concerns of people instead of saying, okay, let me hear your concerns, let's address them and find a way of moving forward, because you don't want to bring something that people are going to resist against. And this is the thing, I saw someone on Twitter actually say, why is the church so silent on this particular matter? Because they do know that not everyone is for this. So why are they silent on this particular issue? We need to have a conversation around the GMO thing. We can't just be saying, okay, moving forward, let's have it come into the country and things like that.
I'll tell you this. Let me just put that conversational perspective as well. This is a Senator, Ledama Olekina, who signs instruments to allow duty-free importation of GMO and non-GMO maize. Is it the Cabinet Secretary of Trade or Finance or Treasury? But his problem is not about the GMO. It is the person who's supposed to sign the instruments that is bound to allow the importation of duty-free GMO into the country. That's exactly what he's asking here.
Because who is taking center stage when it comes to this? Who is driving this ship? Is it the CS industrialization or trade or something like that?
I will tell you that, but it's not clear. But then Moses Korea thinks that he has the power to put into place the instruments of bringing this in. That's why he's saying that for the next 6 months, actually starting today, it's going to be duty-free maize into the country, GMO, which is cheaper, they say.
And probably, what you're going with at this particular time is we need to deal with what is happening in the country, that is to do with drought.
Did you find it a bit suspect that the biggest proponent of GMO, that is Bill Gates, was in the country the other day, visited the president, went around the country, especially the hard-hit areas, and then said, well, a day after, that's going to be...
You see, and these people who come here and try to impose some things, in their countries, to some extent, they have been opposed when it comes to that. Some people have called them out. And I remember during the Trump administration, but anyway, we digress. Listen, that's another topic of discussion for
I'll tell you that. But Amwai, they've got to make it clear. So probably we go and ask these questions because we do know that the Cabinet Secretary for Trade, Investments and Industry, Honorable Moses Korea, together with the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Honorable Mithika Linturi, will this afternoon, as from 2 p.m., address the media on the matter of duty-free imports of GMO and non-GMO maize. But we should attend. It's at 2 p.m., yeah, at Strathmore University, yeah, properly, yeah. And then we'll ask these questions, isn't it? Anyway, we'll leave it there. For now, we take a short break again right here on The Morning Drift. Once we come back, we'll be talking about what is in the newsroom this morning, in as much as your biggest headlines are concerned. My name is Simba, Elijah Charles. Can I get that man right there? Is Brian Amwai, Amwai Brian on Twitter. I'm a Kiage Simba on Twitter. Let's get talking.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
The Healing Jesus campaign is coming to Kenya. Join evangelist Dag Heward-Mills as he preaches the gospel of salvation with miracles, signs and wonders. The campaign will be held in 2 towns, Thika on the 29th of November to the 1st of December and Nyeri from the 2nd to 4th of December at 4 p.m. each night. There will also be a dynamic gathering for pastors dubbed Identifying Dangerous Enemies Conference during the mornings of the Thika campaign from the 29th of November to the 1st of December. In addition, there will be a pastors conference on the 3rd of December, which is the second day of the Nyeri campaign. For more information and registration, please call the numbers on the screen. +254 792 123 789 or +254 724 049 619. You can also visit the website ideckenya.org. Kenya will never be the same again after this encounter with the Anointed and His anointing through the Healing Jesus campaign. We will see you there.
Welcome back. In case you're joining us, this is The Morning Drift. My name is Simba Charles Kiage. Join us online at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba. Let's cross over to the newsroom right now and tell you the biggest headlines that you're waking up to this morning. Now, in yet another incident of a collapsed building in Kiambu County, 2 lives have been lost and 2 others injured. The 3 AM incident yesterday came just 2 days after a 7-story building collapsed at Kasarani, Nairobi County, killing 1 and injuring 7 others. The victims of the Raka incident were an old couple who lived near the building under construction.
Unimaginable loss to yet another family. A somber mood that marooned Ruaka area barely a week after the Kasarani building tragedy that claimed 3 lives, and now Ruaka with an additional of 2 people who have so far been pronounced dead. It was one of those devastating days for Patrick Aromo, the son to the deceased couple Peter Njuthi and Faith Wamboi. He was awoken by a loud thud early Thursday at around 3:30 a.m. Little did he know that his parents would make news headlines as among the victims of tragic incidences of collapsed buildings.
Nilisikia tu mlio, so I thought labda kuna trailer imeanguka ama kitu kayo kulingana na ile mlio ilikuwa hapo. So nikakuwa curious, nikatoka kustukia mimi nimeona nyumba ndio imeanguka na imeangukia of course nyumba ya madhe. Nimefeel so hopeless kwa wazazi wangu venye wamenilea, wametuonyesha mambo mazuri.
Construction had been halted following concerns over lack of professionalism applied in the construction of the building. Although a number of individuals had been arrested, the construction resumed almost immediately.
Kila mtu akipita hapa alikuwa anaona hii nyumba inaweza anguka. So mabishto wangu walikuwa wananiambia na hii nyumba sitakuja kuangukia, naambia yenyewe iko mbaya but tuna hope tu itaianguka. But unfortunately ile kitu tulikuwa tunaomba tu isiwahi happen imetugonga na kwa hivyo.
Kwa kusema kweli nyumba it has been condemned quite a number of times. Imewekwa max, imewekwa X, washashikwa mafudi.
Kiambu County Governor Kimani Wamatangi faulted contractors and the rot that existed within various concerned committees as well as leaders and stakeholders in offices, leading to his immediate dissolution of the board that approves construction across Kiambu County.
Haukukuwa mkaza wa kwanza, tulikuwa na mwingine kule Kino, tulikuwa na mwingine kule Roiro kama kaunti ya Kiambu. Na imekuwa sasa labda hii ni nyumba ya 8 kwa muda ya chini ya miezi 6 ambaye imekuwa inaporomoka. Hivyo ni kusema ya kwamba kuna kasoro kubwa ambaye lazima irekebishwe.
In an audit report done by the National Construction Authority on building collapses in the country in 2020, an assessment involving 14,895 buildings found that 10,791 of the buildings were very unsafe and either needed to be demolished or reinforced before occupation. Another 1,217 buildings were found to be fair and only 2,194 certified as safe. A significant number of Kenyans are living on structural time bombs. According to the report, the country has recorded 87 building collapses over the last 5 years, while an estimate of 200 people have lost their lives in the last 5 years and over 1,000 injured as a result.
There was an incident at Ruiru. There was another one at Kirigiti. But I can confirm that the one at Kirigiti, the investigations, as the governor has said, are complete. Actually, the file is lying with the DPP.
Rescue operations have been completed by officers drawn from Disaster Response Unit, the Red Cross and Kiambu Disaster Group. Efforts are underway to ensure the culprits have been brought to book. But the question remains, did someone sleep on their job? Cecilia Lubanga, Lookuptv.
Chief Magistrate Wendy Micheni has found quack doctor James Mugo Ndichu, famously known as Mugo Wairimu, guilty of running an illegal clinic and drugging patients to perform sexual offences against them. Ian Kitani files the following story.
Mugo Wairimu, who hit the headlines 7 years ago for sexually assaulting his patients, was today arraigned at the Milimani Law Courts in Nairobi to face charges preferred against him by the state.
For his chosen profession, but the court did not believe that he was doing business as he told the court. He must have found a way and now penetrated into the system and presented himself as a nurse and all the other and all the other traits that he was conducting on, having presented himself as a pharmacist and also employing other people, and he was carrying out all this under the Prestige Health Clinic.
Chief Magistrate Wendy Micheni found Mugo Wairimu guilty of 10 charges out of the 12 charges fronted against him in court. Some of the charges of where Wairimu was found guilty include operating an illegal medical facility and unlawfully administering drugs to his patients, especially women, among other counts, with Magistrate Micheni ascertaining The prosecution proved beyond doubt that the said doctor was guilty.
There was a file with the registration. He also visited the facility and he found that this facility had been licensed before, and the last license was issued had expired way back on the 30th of June 2013. Therefore, there were no licenses for the year 2014 and 2015.
He has, however, been acquitted on charges of raping his patient and unlawfully hiring 2 students to work with him at the clinic due to lack of evidence.
And therefore, the conclusion is the accused person is acquitted in counts number 1, that is rape. It was the employment, since that was not adequately proved, but is however convicted in counts number 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 as appears in the charge sheet. He is convicted under section 215 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
A bicameral parliament of the Senate and the National Assembly has voted and approved 9 legislators from the list fronted by Kenya Kwanza and Azimio coalitions to serve as Kenya's representatives in the East Africa Legislative Assembly, EALA. The Kenya Kwanza coalition have 5 members in the Assembly following the approval of Hassan Omar, Zipporah Kering, Mwangi Godfrey Maina, David Sankok, and Falhada Deko. 4 slots will go to the Azimio, with the House approving Suleimani Shabal, Kennedy Musyoka, Winnie Odinga, and Kanini Kega to take up the slots in the Assembly.
Now, honorable members wish to read out the names of the persons who will represent Kenya in the East African Legislative Assembly. From the Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition, the 5 persons who will represent Kenya in the East African Legislative Assembly are as follows. 1, Hassan Omar. 2, Kering Zipporah Chesang Kurgat. 3, David Ole Sankok. 4, Mwangi Godfrey Maina. 5, honorable members, I'm not done. And 5, Iman Falhada Deko. These are read taking into account the gender regulations. And I go on to read those who are the successful candidates and will represent Kenya in the East African Legislative Assembly from the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition. 1, Kalonzo Kennedy Musyoka. 2, Odinga Imgad Winnie. 3, Kega James Mathenge Kanini. 4, Shabal Suleiman Said. Thank you, honorable members.
Raila Odinga running mate Martha Karua has questioned the withdrawal of graft charges against top leaders in the government. Speaking during the Uganda Human Rights Conference held in Nairobi, Karua warned that if the move is not controlled, it may lead to the rise of dictatorship in Kenya. Shadrack Kareria reports.
Mufungamano House in Nairobi on Thursday acted as a safe house for Ugandan opposition leaders and victims of torture as they conducted a conference, which they said could have not been successful in Uganda. It is during the Uganda Human Rights Conference, which was spearheaded by Ugandan leaders of opposition, including Bobi Wine and Kizza Besigye, where Martha Karua was in attendance, got a chance to speak.
We have seen land-grabbing cases, affidavits being sworn, saying there was no land grabbing. How come all these cases about people in power, not the ordinary people?
Karua questioned the speed at which graft cases against top government officials are being withdrawn. Karua warning that if not controlled, will lead to formation of a dictatorship.
Something is cooking in Kenya, and this is the making of dictatorship. I am here to stand in solidarity with Uganda, but to remind my fellow Kenyans that our silence will make a dictator worse than we have ever seen.
The politicians also opposed the proposal to scrap presidential term limit.
As democracy hasn't yet been consolidated, anything can happen to it. And some dangerous signs are already popping their heads. You heard of a leader who was saying term limits should be removed. Those kinds of voices must be hit on the head at the beginning so that they don't have time to worry.
Uganda opposition leader called on the international community to help save Ugandans from what they term as dictator leadership of Ugandan President Kaguta Museveni.
To the international community, we use every opportunity to call up the international community, and I want to do the same right now. You are the people that are propping up monsters in Africa. Idi Amin was supported by you majorly until you got tired of him. Mugabe was supported by you until you got tired of him. My question is, haven't you gotten tired of Museveni yet?
The victims of torture in Uganda shared their experience.
A woman, as I ran, a woman called out to me shouting and saying, "Your son has been shot, come back." And he says, he responded saying, "It can't be my son that has been shot." His son was running away from a police officer who opened fire, and the bullets made him fall into a trench.
Shadrack Kareria, Lookuptv.
Shadrack Kareria with that story. Now, Educational Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu held a meeting with the education stakeholders in Kisumu County ahead of the much anticipated national examinations set to commence later this month. Machogu took the chance to assure Kenyans of a credible examination exercise, but also inviting the public to air their views on matters education.
Thank you very much. We are here in Kisumu today to give an assurance to the entire country that we are well prepared for this year's exam. As you are aware, there are 3 exams which are going on consecutively at the same time, with effect from 28th of this month. We did the official launch, where the chief guest was His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, in Nairobi, and we have been able to send out the papers to the 493 distribution and storage centers in each and every part of the country. This is an assignment, an exercise that the entire government is involved. My colleagues in the cabinet will be involved in this, and we want to assure you that all is well. We now have our center managers in each and everywhere. The principals, the head teachers are the center managers. We are also sending the security personnel to man each and every center.
Right, on that note, Juliani Kuserereka Friday. Before that man, Brian Amwai, comes back to the studio to take you through the next part of the segment. Jua, leo, tuko na DJ Bonai. DJ Bonai, ni aje maze? Kofiti, eh? Nimesikia kuna mafans wa Kuserereka Friday wako wengi hapa sana. So we can say hi to them this morning.
Kuna wase wawili wanakuanga mafans wa Kuserereka ile mbaya, like Friday, this time lazima wakuwe tuned in. Big up to MC Wilbur.
That is MC Wilbur.
MC Wilbur and DJ Sadat wakiwa Dari's Lounge.
Dari's Lounge. Where is it?
Iko Kakamega County.
Where? Kakamega, yeah?
Yeah.
Habari ndio yo.
So big
all
up.
Those 2 guys,
yeah.
Big up maze, yeah, for the support.
Yeah.
Anyway, DJ Bonai.
Yeah.
So chome studio kidogo hivi ndio tuende tukunywe chai ndio turudi, eh? Haya, sindio? Mimi nitakuja baadaye kuanzia saa 4, hapana, kuanzia saa 5 mpaka saa 6 niwaletee mambo ya biashara. Alafu mimi Amwai atarudi tena kidogo afanye ile mambo yake kidogo, tuongee juu ya mambo ya artist kidogo leo Friday, lakini for now wacha tu Rebecca na DJ Bona. DJ Bona, chukua hiki kitu bwana.